It's Chuck Dizzle, radio personality, founder, co-creator of Homegrown Radio. A lot of people, obviously talk about their journeys coming up, but don't necessarily talk about the stuff that happens behind the scenes. And one of the things with Homegrown, people know our come up. People know the apartment off of Lamoli in Inglewood where we got our start. A lot of infamous stories, a lot of infamous interviews, a lot of crazy nights, coming up doing Homegrown. But there was one time, for the backstory, people don't know that was my father's apartment, right? The complex, it was his apartment complex. So I was living there at the time with my wife. This is my place that we're living in, doing the actual Homegrown Radio show. So people are coming in and out, in and out, in and out. And we kind of like are getting momentum, gaining shit, getting things up there with the show, getting a lot of accolades, a lot of just great moments, right? And what people didn't know is my father passes away. And I knew that was going to forever change the dynamic of the show, but I didn't kind of know how fast it was going to happen, because we had to figure out, obviously on some personal shit, it's a traumatic experience losing a parent, but I always knew this is the shit that I wanted to do, right? Homegrown, right? And being able to do it with family, doing my partner DJ Head. But the facility, where we were at was the apartment. And it's gonna throw some people under the bus, so it is what it is. But it was my understanding at the time that the apartment was gonna kind of stay within the family. Or at least we wouldn't have to move immediately or anything like that. Long story short, found out that we had to move, after having a conversation of, oh, no, you'll be fine, you can stay there. And we were still doing the show till one day, hey, yeah, you're going to have to get up and move and figure this out. And of course, it was a fucked up situation on some personal shit. But then also I went back to think of yo, where are we going to do the show? What are we going to be doing? How are we going to we're getting momentum, we're getting things going on. But it was one of those things where we had to stop doing the show from where we were at. And it was one of those moments that could have really stopped Homegrown from progressing, And shouts out to G Malone, man. He was so gracious enough to let us use his studio in Signal Hill where we continued to do things. But that was a tough time for at least myself personally, because I just didn't know what the future of Homegrown was going to be, in that moment, because we've, built so much momentum inside the apartment. It was a special moment, special place. So to have to shift from the apartment to Signal Hill was a huge moment for us. And even now, to this moment, to this day, people still talk about those Lamoli days, those Homegrown interviews, those moments we were in the apartment where, you never get those moments back, but it was a special time and a special place. And yeah, that was a struggle trying to figure out that transitional period between the one location to the next. But it was also one of the best things that happened too, because you learn how to figure shit out. When you're at your lowest and you don't know what's gonna happen, it's what are we gonna do? If you're committed to something, and this is where my faith kind of drives, where I believe that God shows you different ways and will allow things to happen. I had no idea that G was going to allow us to use the studio space. I just knew that we were committed to figuring it out. If we was going to have to do it in the streets, we was going to do it in the streets. If we was going to have to, find a spot to do studio time in and scrounge up the money to make it happen, we were committed to the vision of making it work out either way. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that side of it. They know the apartment, they know we went from one spot to the next, but they don't know kind of the reasoning why. And it was a tough and a dark moment, you know what I'm saying, for myself personally, because imagine going through that, losing a parent, losing a living situation, and losing your career, something that you love to do, a passion, all in one swoop, But we made it happen, worked it out. My advice to anybody that's that sees the instant gratification online, seeing other people post what's popping and celebrating, there's no knock to that, because you got to celebrate the journey, you got to celebrate the accomplishments, and I think that's important, right? it's a certain level of motivation. There's a line that Pac has. He says, "Being blind to the broken man's dream," and it's like, yo, while you're celebrating, remember where you were at one time, or remember somebody that doesn't have it. And the one thing that I would tell those that's on the come up is your time is coming if you stay persistent with it. If you keep going, I know it sounds cliche, but you gotta keep going towards the shit that you love and what you want to do. And if you still want it without the gratification, that's how you know you're on the right path. If you just want it for the glitz, the glam, the popular shit, you know what I'm trying to get at. If you just want it for the result of the instant gratification, purely because of that, then it might not be the thing that you really want. For me, with radio and this entertainment business, the quiet is kept, and it might sound crazy, but I was content still going at the level that we were in the apartment because of what we were doing, the platform we were providing. I was cool with having a fucked up carpet. I was cool with, the hot ass room. I was cool with all of that because of what it allowed other people to do. It allowed other people to get off what they wanted to do, right? Now, obviously things have switched up and we've made some amazing, triumphs. We've had, stages, homegrown stages. We've been on the radio. Nobody would have even thought that what we've been able to accomplish would have been possible. But for me, I think that all of those blessings happened because I was true to what the mission of Homegrown was from jump, in providing a platform and being a service to other people. So just make sure you hold on to whatever that vision is. What's that thing that you love about what it is? And if it doesn't really include the gratification, then I think you'll be on the right path. But just don't stop. Like, understand your day is gonna come, but just kind of just keep going at it. You know what I mean?